Amazon has everything for back to school. Zebra lunchbox? Check. Cool Adidas gear like t-shirts, shoes, and backpacks? Check. Triceratops folders and pencils? Check. Laser Cat t-shirts? Check. Get your back to school shopping done now at Amazon.com/back-to-school and enjoy free shipping on millions of items. No need to leave your home or hassle with crowds. Amazon.com. No better place to get everything back to school from A to Z.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Partners in Health and Biz with your host, Gail Dixon. Tune in every Saturday, 9 a.m. for great shows about obtaining and maintaining health, business, and finance. Learn from the experts here at PIHradio.net. And now, broadcasting from the Partners in Health and Biz studio, here's Gail.
Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my show. Welcome to Partners in Health and Biz. We are broadcasting live from our Columbia, Maryland studio. And this is such a wonderful day. We have a fantastic show planned for you. Today's topic, Psoriasis Action Month, with my special guest, Kathleen Carter. And before I tell you a little bit about my special guest, I'd like to First of all, I'd like to give out the call-in number. It's 347-945-7433, 347-945-7433. Our website is www.pihradio.net, and the other website is www.partnersinhealth.biz. So, first of all, this is the month that we want to take action in terms of psoriasis. Many of you do not even know what psoriasis is. But I want to tell you a little bit about the foundation. It's the National Psoriasis Foundation. It has been serving the community for more than 50 years of patient support, advocacy, research, funding, and education. The National Psoriasis Foundation, or NPF, is the world's leading nonprofit fighting for individuals with psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis. The NPF its mission is to drive efforts to cure psoriatic disease, dramatically improve the lives of more than 8 million Americans affected by this chronic immune-mediated disease. To date, the NPF has funded more than $17 million in research grants and fellowships that help drive discoveries that may lead to more and better treatments and ultimately a cure. So I want to tell you about my special guest. She is none other than Kathleen Carter, the Associate Director who oversees the National Psoriasis Foundation's Patient Navigation System, which is a personalized support center for people impacted by psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis. Now, the center's team of specially trained patient navigators provide personalized and ongoing support to empower patients to live their healthiest lives. Kathleen has worked for the National Psoriasis Foundation for the past 6.5 years, overseeing various patient education and volunteer programs in her tenure with the organization. So without further ado, I'd like to open up Kathleen Carter's microphone and welcome her to Partners in Health and Biz. Good morning, Kathleen. Are you with us?
Hi there. Good morning, Gail. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So happy you could join us this morning. And we do appreciate you getting up so early this morning. I know there's a time difference. We're on the East Coast and you're on Pacific time. So thank you for being so accommodating.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Oh, thanks. So psoriasis. Let's jump into this conversation because many people do not know what psoriasis is. I know there's eczema, and I think I was diagnosed at one point with having eczema, but I'm not really sure. Don't believe it's the same thing as psoriasis. Could you explain to us exactly what is psoriasis?
Absolutely. So psoriasis is a chronic lifelong disease, and it's what's called an immune-mediated disease, which means that the the immune system plays a role in its development. And essentially what happens when, someone has psoriasis is that their immune system responds to a trigger. It becomes overactive and creates all of these inflammatory changes within the body. And one of those changes is that skin cells start growing and reproducing very quickly, more quickly than they can naturally slough off the skin. And that's what results in those painful, scaly, inflamed patches of skin that you typically see with psoriasis. And it can really, occur anywhere on the body. It causes the skin to itch and burn and sting and bleed. And as you mentioned in your intro, it's quite a common condition. Over 8 million Americans have psoriasis, and it really does occur in all types of people, all ages, all genders, ethnicities. But it does tend to vary a lot in terms of, just from person to person, in terms of severity and appearance of the disease. And of course, it's also linked with this inflammatory type of arthritis that's called psoriatic arthritis. And up to about 30% of people who have psoriasis will eventually develop psoriatic arthritis, which can cause stiffness, pain, and swelling really in any joint in the body.
So is the psoriatic arthritis, it starts from the psoriasis. Is that something like what's causing the arthritis? Is that inside of the muscle, or is it inside the, the psoriasis you can see on the outside. You can see the inflamed tissue on the outside. Is that affecting the inside of a person's body also?
Right, exactly. So, what researchers have learned over time is that there's this chronic inflammation that's happening inside the body. And yes, for a lot of people, they'll have symptoms of psoriasis on their skin first, and then at some point in their lives, they might start to experience joint symptoms. But again, everybody really is different. So some people will experience those joint symptoms first and maybe never have a lot of skin symptoms in their lifetime. But yes, definitely that underlying inflammation that's happening within your body is kind of the common thread with psoriatic disease.
Mm-hmm. And so do researchers know, do want to make it clear that Ms. Carter, Kathleen, is not a physician. She's not a medical doctor, but she's a representative of the National Psoriatic Foundation. But do you know if research has shown what causes psoriasis, and is it fatal, or is it just something that, a condition that's really difficult to deal with?
Sure, great question. Yeah, so I think there's, a lot that researchers know and understand about the psoriatic disease now, and still a lot that remains to be discovered. But it really is a complex disease in terms of what causes it to appear in a given individual. So there's definitely a genetic component, but there's also triggers. It's triggers that you experience in your environment that play a role. So, what researchers believe at this point is that about 10% of the population actually has the right genetic mix for psoriasis, but only 2 to 3% actually develop it. And that's because they have that genetic mix and they also experience their particular environmental trigger. And triggers for psoriasis really can vary a lot from person to person, anything from stress to medications or illness. For some people, diet can play a role, but they really aren't, universal. And some people don't have defined triggers either. So you can see the ways, again, that psoriasis really does vary from person to person. And then in terms of whether it's fatal, typically psoriasis is not fatal, but there are more rare forms of the disease that really do require urgent medical attention and can become very, very serious if they're not treated appropriately.
Oh, okay. And are there any other health conditions associated with the psoriasis aside from the arthritis aspect of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, again, as we were, chatting about that kind of chronic inflammation that's happening within the body, what researchers believe at this point is that, that inflammation that's happening inside the body, it's the impacts aren't just isolated to what you might see on the skin. And people with psoriasis are at a higher risk of what we call comorbidities, which are diseases, are kind of linked to one another. And people with psoriasis are at a higher risk of developing a series of pretty serious health conditions, things like heart disease, depression, high blood pressure, obesity, diabetes, a whole host of different conditions, which, is important to know about, so that if you are affected by psoriasis, you need to make sure that you're working with a healthcare provider to manage your risk for those conditions. By working with a doctor, making sure that you're getting tested regularly for comorbidities, treating your disease, you can really, live your healthiest life and manage your risk for these conditions. And it's also important just to understand how, psoriatic disease fits into the overall picture of your health.
Oh, okay. Just a 1 minute, second. Something happened with the computer here. Okay, and so, I know there are so many people, and I've seen the commercials on television advertising psoriatic arthritis, but I had no idea that psoriatic or any type of psoriasis could be connected to diabetes and heart disease and all of those, some of the other conditions you just mentioned, which is very, it's very, disturbing, I guess, to know. But it's good to know that you're sharing this information with us, because we, we did not know this, and that's why I'm so happy that I have you with us this morning. We're going to have a little commercial break. I'm having a bit of a slight technical problem here, and so hold on, Kathleen. Stay tuned, and we will be right back after this commercial message from one of our sponsors.
Let's be creative with Carrie. Caricatures by Carrie, available for weddings, parties, anniversaries, corporate events, and more. Children's book author, superhero, and cartoon illustrator, logo and graphic designer. Contact Carrie for your customized creations. Caricatures by Carrie at gmail.com. Connect on Twitter and Instagram with hashtag CaricatureCarrie and check him out. www.carriegjohnsondraws.com.
And we are back. You are listening to Partners in Health and Biz on the PIH Radio. I'm your host, Gail Dixon, so very happy you could join me this morning. The topic this morning is Psoriatic Action Month. Take action Psoriasis Action Month with Kathleen Carter is my special guest, and we have been having a wonderful conversation. She has been giving us information about what psoriatic arthritis is, what psoriasis is, and so we're going to move right along. And I want to ask Kathleen, first of all, the second question that, one of the questions that I still have is psoriatic or psoriasis a contagious disease?
Yeah, this is a really important question to address. So the answer is no. Psoriasis is not contagious. You can't catch it from someone or give it to someone else. And, unfortunately, we still hear from people all the time who have experienced discrimination in public settings when they have visible psoriasis. But it's really important for everyone to know you can't get psoriasis from swimming in a pool with someone who has the disease or having close contact with someone. And again, really important for us as an organization to combat those misconceptions.
Absolutely. So how would a person know if they have psoriasis versus, a rash? Because our skin, sometimes we come in contact, we're outside, we may brush against something and our skin gets irritated, or we may come across some of the plants. What are those certain plants that if you rub yourself skin up against them, you'll get a terrible rash. And so how do people know if